you, Dr. Turner. Sorry. The next book is one of my favorites, Brave New World. It's a novel by Aldous Huxley, and it's published in 1932. In his novel, set in a futuristic society, human beings are mass-produced and conditioned for lives in a rigid, intelligence-based caste system. The book deals with problems of religion, science, art, politics, sex, and drugs. Brave New World has been removed from classrooms because it was centered around negative activity. In India, Huxley was accused of being a pornographer. The American Library Association ranks Brave New World as number 52 on their list of most challenged books. Today, Brian Roessler will be reading an excerpt from Brave New World.
Hey everybody, thanks for coming out. I'm a little nervous. This book means a lot to me. I didn't read it until I was 35. In a class by a teacher who inspired me to become a teacher. Outside in the garden, it was playtime. Naked in the warm June sunshine, 600 or 700 little boys and girls were running with shrill yells over the lawn, or playing ball games or squatting silently in twos and threes among the flowering shrubs. The roses were in bloom, two nightingales soliloquized in the fox age, a cuckoo was just going out of tune among the lime trees. The air was drowsy with the murmur of bees and helicopters. The director and his students stood for a short time watching a game of centrifugal bumble puppy. 20 children were grouped around a circle of a chrome steel tower. A ball thrown up as to land on the platform at the top of the tower rolled down into the interior, fell on a rapidly revolving disc, was hurled through one another of the numerous apertures pierced in the cylindrical casing, and had to be caught. Strange, mused the director as they turned away. Strange to think that even in our Ford's day, Henry Ford, most games were played without more apparatus than a ball or cue and a few sticks and perhaps a bit of netting. Imagine the folly of allowing people to play elaborate games which do nothing whatsoever to increase consumption. It's madness. Nowadays, the controllers won't approve of any new game unless it can be shown that it requires at least as much apparatus as the most complicated of existing games. He interrupted himself. That's a charming little group, he said, pointing. In a grassy bay between tall clumps of Mediterranean heather, two children, a little boy of about 7 and a little girl who might have been a year older, were playing very bravely with all the focused attention of scientific intent on a labor of discovery, a rudimentary sexual game. Charming, charming, said the DHD, repeating sentimentally. Charming, the boys politely agreed, but their smile was rather patronizing. They had put aside similar childish amusements too recently to be able to watch them now without a touch of contempt. Charming, but it was just a pair of kids fooling around a bit. That was all, just kids. I always think, the director was continuing in the same rather boring tone, when he was interrupted by a loud boo-hooing. From a neighboring shrubbery emerged a nurse, leading the hand of a small boy who howled as he went. An anxious little girl trotted at her heels. What's the matter? Asked the director. The nurse shrugged her shoulders. Nothing much, she answered. It's just this little boy seems rather reluctant to join in the ordinary erotic play. I noticed it once or twice before, and now again today. He started yelling just now. Honestly, put in the little anxious-looking girl, I didn't mean to hurt him or anything, honestly. Of course you didn't, dear, said the nurse reassuringly, and so she went on, turning back to the director. I'm taking him to see the assistant superintendent of psychology, just to see if anything's abnormal. Quite right, said the director. Take him in. You stay here, little girl, he added. The nurse moved away with her still howling charge. What's your name? Polly Trotsky. And a very good name, too, said the director. Run away now and see if you can find some other little boy to play with. The child scampered off into the bushes and was lost to sight. Exquisite little creature, said the director, looking after her, then turning to his students. What I'm going to tell you now may sound incredible, but then you're not accustomed to history. Most facts about the past do sound incredible. he let out the amazing truth. For a very long period before the time of our Ford, and even for some generations afterward, erotic play between children had been regarded as abnormal, and not only abnormal, actually immoral, and had therefore been rigorously suppressed. A look of astonished incredulity appeared on the faces of his listeners. Poor little kids not allowed to amuse themselves? They could not believe it. Even adolescents, said the DHC, even adolescents like yourself, not possible. Barring a little surreptitious autoeroticism and homosexuality, absolutely nothing. Nothing? In most cases, till they were over 20 years old. 20 years old? Echoed the students in a chorus of loud disbelief. 20, the director repeated. I told you, you would find it incredible. Well, what happened, they asked. What were the results? The results were terrible. Thank you.